So just off of what we're seeing, he's projected to sell, right, 8,000. That's a round number, right? Now, granted, I did this in 20 seconds. We're not really analyzing numbers. And by the way, some of these numbers wouldn't count. 1.5 million on my mixtapes is okay. What does that mean, right? It's a lot of shit to kind of get into it, right? Also, another thing too, which I have to be very clear and very fair about, perhaps when we're looking at, say, 1.5, let's say 1.5 on if the 1.5 is accurate on my mixtapes, maybe it's just 1.5 that clicked onto the project, but not clicked on every song. So you would have to take into account every song. But anyway, let's put it like this, right? And this is fluff. I'm just adding mad fluff. Remember I added like a ×2 fluff. I added an extra 2 million fluff. I'm at the sales portion, which would say 8,000. Let's just go ×2. I'm just doing double just cause. You know, because there's many things we didn't account for. Let's just go ×2. Say 16,000, right? This is where we have a dilemma, right? So Meek is out of his deal. He sold 100,000, or actually 92 with his last project with Atlantic. He's about to be a free agent, right? Or actually, he is a free agent, but like he can't drop anything till like February. So he dropped it on these other platforms. Let's say the consumption here is like 16,000, right? Granted, it's more than Sweetie, but obviously Meek is bigger than Sweetie, right? But where does that leave like an actual label in what they think he could actually do? Now, granted, there's zero promotion here. Zero promotion. This is just him like moving off his fan base who has loved his series before, him rapping. This is what I'll say. I think a label now would say Meek, and I'm, again, I hope y'all understand this is not hating, bro. Like, I'm a numbers guy. I graduated from Rutgers University. That's why I tweet out numbers with a biomathematics degree. I analyze numbers all the time. I analyze trends. I analyze it throughout the whole board. I have a whole thing, and I actually have people who, you know, hit me with graphs, charts, and all that we kind of make really almost accurate predictions with. Okay. This is what I would say. Meek at this point, and if you ask me, this is just me guessing. Kodak wanted 40 million. From what I heard, Kodak got 25 to 30, maybe 33. Okay? That's what I heard. From what I heard, YoungBoy got close to 40, wasn't 40. Give you real things that I've heard. Now, I haven't heard from them. I've heard from people in the labels, right? From what I heard, Atlantic wanted to give Kodak like max like 20. Kodak obviously seen what the market was. Other people like him. He wanted more. He went to Motown. He got more. He got closer to 30. So he got probably an extra 10 million for leaving, right? Atlantic just not like, Atlantic was giving him close to 20, but now he got close to 30, right? $10 million, you out of there, right? YoungBoy, Atlantic allegedly was trying to give that nigga like, okay, we might give you 25, maybe we'll go up a little bit, maybe close to 30. YoungBoy got a little bit close to 40, okay? So both of them, by leaving Atlantic, got extra $10 million. Really good. These labels ain't worth shit. They don't do nothing that these artists can't do. YoungBoy is his own machine. Go get that extra $10 million, right? And also, when you get this extra $10 million, you also, they gave you way more negotiating power in terms of your masters for future projects and other shit you could do. And it's a shorter term contract. So I believe YoungBoy and also Kodak, they signed almost a LeBron deal, which means Capitol is probably going to only have them for, from what I'm hearing, 18 months. So maybe not even 24. So once it officially starts, which YoungBoy shit hasn't officially started, nor Kodak. So it's going to start in 2023. By 2026, these guys are going to have the option of either re-up or leaving again. So they're getting good amount of money to drop a bunch of projects real quick. they realize the consumption rate, they could dip whenever they want to. Feel me? I'm telling y'all that because y'all need to understand that to understand the current market, right? Young boys dropping projects consistently. Like these labels are more willing to give artists that will drop more projects consistently and sell less rather than an artist that will take 3 years to drop one and hope that they're going to break the bank. You get what I mean? Just being honest. Cool. So we're going off this number. This is a completely made up number. So if anybody sees this, it's completely made up. This is me just kind of just saying, yo, being really, 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 really generous to Meek. Really generous. And I'm like, let's say consumption is 16,000. If I work under the CFO for these labels, which is the chief financial officer, and I'm figuring out what an artist should be, what money we could offer them. If Meek is doing this with no promo, this and third, I'm going to think that with promo, this and third, we could take Meek to be, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to think 70, 80,000, realistically. Maybe 90. Now I'm going to take a couple other things into perspective. Number one, we don't have his catalog. Atlantic got that. But Meek has a lot of relationships. He has a relationship with Drake. He has a relationship with Future, all these people. We might catch one. That shit could really go. We're going to get into some of what he was talking about with like going bad, right? So I'm just talking about contract-wise, right? So if here's the thing now. I'm thinking as a label. How many times is Meek going to drop? By the way, if you haven't realized, even Drake has been dropping more frequently. Drake dropped 3 times in a year. Y'all ain't notice that? Drake has dropped 3 times in a year. Now they're going to look at Meek to say, yo, Meek, the last project you dropped was kind of like, was it 2020 or 2019? They're going to be like, yo, we going to need more projects and whatever. They're trying to, it's a numbers game. So if you ask me, and this is my amateur opinion, I'm not hating. I hope when I say this, y'all don't think I'm hating. I'm really just going off numbers. What these labels think they could make off of you. And by the way, I gave Meek such a fluff with this project that, cool. Let's say they're going to say, oh, he could sell 80K. If he's selling this, we could get him to between 60 and 80 for the next project. But we're going to need the next project out in the next year and a half. What does that mean? We need him to drop an album before 2023 is over or by 2024 summer. So, okay, cool. What that deal looks like. If they're going to give him a, I don't know, two to 3 album deal, let's say 3 album deal, I could see them looking at Meek and say, yo, we'll give you $15 million. And it's not because of his talent. It's because of probably drop rate. If you like YoungBoy, you could run up the check by saying, I'm going to drop 8 albums in 2 years. Meek would never drop 8 albums in 2 years. You get what I mean? So it's kind of all about that too. So I could see Meek getting 15 mil. Right? Not shitting on him. I think that would be good for him. 15 mil for 3 years, that's $5 million a year. Keep in mind, they're going to invest money into get him back, back more popping again. He's always going to be doing the intro. He's always going to be doing going bad and all these stuff. Like Meek Mill, from what I've known, he's always commanded at least $100,000 when he shows up to perform at least a 25-minute set. Shit, you make $5 million per year off of your contract. Trust me, you're never going to recoup, so you're not going to see no more money. So $5 million a year there. He could probably squeeze out 7 to 8 from performing and all these other things and whatever. 5 plus 7 to 8, 13 million. Why not? I'm just doing like some math for y'all. I'm just saying the math. You feel me? So I don't think that's a bad deal. Okay? By the way, I don't know where Meek is going to go after he could sign to anywhere. He's been teasing, and this is where I should probably get into his post. Now we're at his post, chat. I know y'all like, yo, nigga, get to his post. He's been teasing like maybe he'll just be independent. And this is where we get to his tweets. Let's see if we can get to some of these Ask Meek tweets. Let me see. Did he delete some of this? Hopefully not. He did an Ask Meek or something like that. Yeah, he did an Ask Meek. Wait, did he delete it? It was he did delete it. Oh wow, I'm surprised he deleted it. Maybe he thought people were reacting to it. Meek going bad Drake. All right. Okay. It says Meek revealed that Going Bad song with Drake made $24 million, but he doesn't know how much he made. Oh no, it's still up. I guess it was responses. Somebody says, when are you dropping the Expensive Pain Deluxe? He says, yo, I let go of those albums once I seen I was getting 13. By the way, so let me explain this again. I've told you guys this. So Meek clearly is telling y'all he's on a royalty rate deal. What does that mean? So if Meek Mill gets $5 million as an advance, if they then spend $3 million on clearing features, studio time, paying producers, and this other shit, so that's already $8 million. Then, so 5 plus 3 is 8. Then they spend $1.5 million, or really probably going to be about $2 million to promote the project because they want him to sell over 100K. So they spent 5, they gave him 5 as an advance, 3 to clear everything, pay producers, studio time, travel between shit, pay artists, because artists are going to charge him. Some artists, not every, right? Then they spend 2 on the motherfucking, all right, let me bring, where's the calculator? Let's bring it back up again. I'm going to show you how the music industry works. So say they gave him $5 million as an advance. They gave him $3 million to make the project, right? Which is recording fees. Meek is recording at state-of-the-art places. He's not recording in closets. Those places are probably costing $8,000 a night. They're booking it for the whole night, whether he's there the whole night or not. $8,000 a night or $5,000 a night, maybe for 6 months straight. Trust me, that's how they do it. Yo, we'll do it for 3 months straight. Think about it. Let's go back. 90 days, 90 times, let's be cheap. 90 times 3,000. Meek has the studio booked out every day for 3 months. Look, it's going to be 270,000. Usually it's going to be 6 months. So let's say 180. So regardless if maybe one night he just ain't want to go to the studio, or he would be like, no, whatever. The label still got to pay for it because they've reserved it for Meek. And it's not only Meek. I don't want to make Meek an example here. I'm just telling you this is how the industry works. So 180 times, we're going to be realistic. These are state-of-the-art studios. He's not recording bullshit. They're probably booking out at least 12 hours, right? 12 hours. Shit, 12 hours, probably $250 an hour. It's going to come to this. And to keep it real, with the engineer and everything else, it's coming. Keep in mind, not only that's the studio time. Then you got runner service. Everybody, when they come in, yo, where the Henny at? Niggas ain't getting Henny themselves. The studio will provide all that. They got a runner service. They got all this type of stuff. Bro, this is how the top tier artists record. So, okay, cool. They're going to have $1,000 just to go get liquor, or there's going to be a nigga who's just there to be a runner. Add 1,000. Oh, my God. So it's going to be 4,000. Then it's going to be food, this and third, blah, blah, blah. Another 1,000. So it's 5,000. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's 5,000. It's 5,000 a night to fucking book the studio. Remember, you ain't do an album in a few years. They're not gonna give you 3 months to work on it. They're gonna give you 6 months. 6 months. 6 times 3 is 180. 180 times $5,000. Right? Oh no. 180 times $5,000 is damn near $1 million. Right? So that's studio time. Right? You got to pay some producers. You got to pay some whatever. You probably got to pay for an extra mix or a master. Whatever the case is, it's easy. So this will be coming out of, that's what I'm saying. They gave him $5 million in his pocket as an advance. Right? Well, how they would do it is 2.5 for, well, sometimes it'll be like $1.5 million as a signing bonus, or $2 million as a signing bonus, and then 1.5 upfront, so you get 3.5, and then the other half is when you turn in the project. But anyway, it's still 5, right? So I'm just show you how the $3 million for the studio gonna come in, right? Or the studio, or for the production costs. So it's $900,000 for the studio, right? $900,000 for the studio. I mean, Meek cool with mad niggas, right? Like, Future ain't gonna charge him. He even said Drake didn't charge him. But they're gonna be some miscellaneous costs. Also, the beat makers, they gotta charge. The beat makers gotta charge. Who knows? Maybe got a Metro beat, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, beat, you know what I mean? By the way, they're not even thinking I'm charging Meek. It's coming out the budget. There's gonna be a budget. You feel me? So it's $900,000 for the studio, let's say, to clear every verse, and then you gotta think about samples. Meek a nigga who like to rhyme over samples. Feel me? So now you got samples coming in there. So we just gonna put $1.5 million. Not to mention some of the people who probably gave you samples that not only they wanted a fee up front, they definitely want points on the album and definitely points on the song, right? So that plus 900,000, where we at? We at 2.4, right? And then just in like, there's just so much fees to it, like travel, this and third. Like most of these artists, when they're making an album, the what do you call it again? The A&R is in there with them. The A&R is with them. Shit, Meek probably not only recording in the studio, maybe he got to fly to Bahamas to go record with Drake, or fly to whatever to go. Like, that's how shit get done. So that's why I'm saying, let's just add 600,000. Like, bro, like on the label's budget, trust me, you run it up. So it's easy to get to $3 million to make an album. Easy. When you're a big artist like Meek who sells over 100,000, you got to be on your shit to say no to everything, because they're going to give you the world. They're going to run the bill up. They don't give a fuck about the bill. Okay, so they gave you 5 in your pocket. Here's the 3. All right, bet. So now you got the 3. Now you gave the album. You turned it in. They said, well, we got to, usually back in the day, they'll be like, oh, they got to pay these fees. And everything is digital these days. So, we got to put up a lot of billboards. We got to pay some blogs. We got to do this. We got to pay for placements. $2 million. So now you $10 million in the hole, baby. You $10 million in the hole. Trust me. Billboards, blogs, like when these things doing blog packages, 100,000, 200,000. Some of these things do like, oh, yo, shit, let's put you on the cover of this magazine. Gotta pay for that. All I gotta pay for. So it's $10 million now. Okay. To break it down to y'all, I'm a math guy, so I'm gonna try to. How could I tell y'all? Okay. So $10 million, right? $10 million means you need to sell. Let's just say it's average. Like we're rounding up, or we're rounding. Like we're doing really like generous estimation. If so, they spent $10 million on your new contract and your first album, but you're lit already. You've been on their team. Every album, so they spend $10 million. Every album is gonna cost $10. So let's divide by 10. So they need to sell 1 million copies for them to recoup. This is the trick. This is the kicker. They need to sell 1 million copies for them to recoup. Now, you might be thinking, well, that nigga not going to sell 1 million in a week. A label don't really give a they'll recoup in year 5. They usually want to recoup on like about year 2 to 3. but they don't mind if they recoup on year 5. They got all the time. They're the bank. Okay. So for what they did, they need to sell 1 million copies. And this is the kicker. Meek already got $5 million in his pocket. This and third, they spent all this money. Meek needs to sell $1 million, 1 million copies before he sees another dime. Okay? Now, obviously, there's like publishing, there's other things that kind of surround the shit, but still. Okay. Now, you want to know what 1 million copies is? If we times that by 1350, that means Meek's album needs to do 1 billion streams if there's no sales. So his album needs to do 1 billion streams, okay? Let's minus 13 or divided by, so we're back to 1 million. So it needs to do 1 million copies. So the 5 million he got, which was probably 2 years ago, right? Because that's how long it takes for an artist like that. Probably takes 2 years for him to deliver the album, for him to get a plan, prep it, this and third, put it out. He only got 5 million. It's gonna take, what does Meek sell in a year? Sell in a week? We're gonna be fair. He sells 100,000, right? Sells 100,000 minus 100,000. If he sold that in a week, the next week probably gonna sell 50,000. Then the next week is gonna be 25,000. The point is what I'm trying to say. After a year, in a year, Meek probably gonna sell, let's say, an additional 600,000. Maybe after 2 years. So after 2 years, or maybe 2.5, he sells 1 million copies. So keep in mind, they gave him 5 million, and it took about like a year and a half or 2 years to get the project out. Then it takes 2 extra years for them to actually recoup. So for 4 years, that 5 million that Meek seen, he ain't see another motherfucking thing. He probably seen some of his songs go crazy. He ain't seen a